it's interesting because I have a private practice in Boca. And I always love when people come in, and yes, there's crisis management and all that, but then I have the people that really want to understand who they are, why they're that way, why they're choosing mistakes or repeating patterns, you know? And so when I became a therapist, my gift to myself was to go into analysis 3 days a week, double, triple sessions, because I felt like I really needed to know who I was, the good, the bad, the ugly, figure out what I wanted to keep in my life and what I needed to adjust. I mean, I'm 67 and I'm still doing the work. I'm still learning and listening and reading and researching and listening to women and men and, really trying to figure out how to remain joyful and happy, right? In a world that's filled with chaos and crisis, right?
Yes, exactly. And, you know, it's a forever thing, right? You're always going to be wanting to work on yourself. You're going to grow until, you take your last breath. And it is work. And once you start seeing that you can actually change, for me, this all happened through my divorce, right? So I met you and I've watched, and by your guidance, helped me see how I could change. And you brought some things up, like mentioning having like a housekeeper, and it was a nanny that you said. And I'm like, I can't have a nanny. What do you think I'm a millionaire? Like, that's only for really, really,
You couldn't
really.
not have a nanny in your position.
Yeah, so it was like a nanny, and then um so, man, was that life changing. So you're so right with, you have to, first of all, you have to
No.
believe that you can change.
But people
Right.
get scared when we say change, right? They think like, oh, I don't want to be different. I'm afraid what's gonna, I know,
Yeah.
I know who I am. But the truth of the matter, it's not even about changing. It's about choices,
Yes.
about knowing that in life, we're raised a certain way with a mentality, with a culture, but when we open our minds to possibilities and that there are other choices to make and tools to make our life easier and more manageable, I'm at a point in my life where I could be probably taking pills and upset every day, but I choose to be happy. I choose to be calm. I choose to feel peaceful.
Yeah.
I've learned tools and ways to get there. And
Right.
once you know the difference, life is so much easier to navigate. And once you know, you can't unknow.
Right.
So then it becomes like a choice to, okay, we could watch the news all day and be frantic and scared, or we can change the channel and listen to sweet, calm music.
Right.
These are kind of simple choices. Or we could be a single mom, work full time, try to be perfect at everything and fail. Or we can hire a professional to cook, clean, make beds, cook the dinner, and come home and read a beautiful book to your child and give them a bath.
Right.
These are tools and choices, right?
Right.
So I feel people get scared by the word change. You want to change me? What do you want to change me on? But
Yeah.
it's really about growing and learning
And
and
I guess living a better life than you're in right now, right? If you're in a state of mind that is, and you talked about it earlier, and we've spoken about this over the years, but having these limiting beliefs that hold us back,
uh-huh.
right? And we're not happy. I mean, there were times, well, when I was going through my divorce, I had moments that I didn't want to leave my bedroom. I was sad. I had a young baby, it was scary, right? And then I invested in a business, years later, and that didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to be. And I went right back to that. There was another time I was in my bed, didn't want to get out. It's so you could, when you work on yourself and you help yourself get through certain challenges and you see the strength that you have, because that's like what I could say is with through working on myself, through leveraging you, listening to different books on self growth and self development, And I really was intentional, and I felt so good when I was doing these things. And I remember another thing you said is like setting boundaries with people, right? The importance of setting boundaries. Oh my gosh, was that like when I started to really set boundaries and people and like it worked. It's the weirdest thing.
Boundaries
Like
is
it
the
feels
people
so
like
lighter.
boundaries. People need to know, well, you first need to know how much you have to give and what you want to give. People will
Yeah,
suck the life out of you, your children, your family, your workers. So you have to know, okay, I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that. This is good for me, and I don't have more than that to give. And
right.
having boundaries is really very important for every aspect. The other thing I don't want to miss out the opportunity to talk about is when you're a success. When something fails, like a marriage, a business, people are like, oh, I'm a failure. They start to identify with it. When in my book, I look at things not working out, a failure, as a learning opportunity.
Yeah,
So when you figure out what you've learned from a mistake or a failed relationship or a failed business or whatever, then you learn, oh, okay, I can be resilient, or I can change directions, or I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who yells at me. I don't allow that anymore. So the way we grow from it and learn from these mistakes are priceless. If everything goes
yeah,
perfect your whole life,
yeah,
God forbid down the road something goes bad, you don't have the skills to handle that.
right.
You learn resiliency from challenges, from suffering, right? You just
Yeah.
don't sit in it too long.
Yeah, and so I say that actually this week I was with a few women and we had a little outing, and I brought up how I invested in a business that I had a thought it was going to go a whole one way, and it went so the other way, something I totally did not expect, and how that was it was for me. I put myself through Harvard
You
University.
took
It was
it
a very
personally.
expensive learning experience for me. While I was going through it, did I feel that way? No. I mean, there were moments in time where I was like, I'm going to lose everything. Jake and I are going to be living on the street. You
Sure.
know, my fear, it was all of these, and I write about that in my first book about fear. It's false expectations appearing real.
Also called catastrophic thinking, when something goes wrong and you really get invested in the negative part
Oof.
rather than, wow, okay, shit happens. What did I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Am I going to really
Yeah.
be homeless and poor? Nah, I might not be able to go to Gucci or go on a vacation this week, but we'll survive. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
got to it's all about thinking. All of this stuff we're talking about is how we think.
Whenever I feel like something is challenging me, or I'm going to get that limiting belief of I'm not smart enough, or they don't like me, or whatever. I get the feeling like in my gut, like right below my rib cage, that when I feel this way, I immediately, if I can't start to think of how to help myself start to think differently, and I got this and we'll get past it and it's going to be, it's going to be fine, and actually take action steps to rectify that challenge, or face whatever it is that I'm facing that's causing me to feel uncomfortable, um,
It goes away.
it goes away. And if I,
Every year I go from a wait list to frantic to slow. And every year I think, oh, they caught on that I suck. That's it. My practice is
yes,
over. I better. And then I'm like, oh, come on. I even went as far as to look back over my appointment books over the past few years to see that is when I get slow. And so I've trained myself now to kind of laugh at that thought
yeah,
and to
yeah,
go do something fun I wouldn't normally get to do, like go for a massage, go to a movie, visit a friend, take days off, and just enjoy the break in time. But every year it doesn't fail. My brain goes to, oh, they figured out you suck.
yeah, yeah, yep. Oh, I could totally relate.
Yeah, it's
Yep, it's
normal,
I'm gonna get fired.
right?
I'm gonna get fired today. I'm not smart. They like me, but I'm not smart enough to be in the position that I'm in. But yeah.
I think the secret is everybody feels that way.